Most people, not all, but most, way most, are asleep and don't know it. Can you imagine? Think about that. You could be asleep and don't know it because your physical eyes are open and you are breathing, barely breathing, but still alive. And don't know it. It's crazy. It is mind-blowing to me that you could be living a life in sleepness, in darkness, and don't know it. And you don't know that you can't see until you can see. And as a result of that, your life and the world is going to hell in a handbasket. More and more people are being controlled like never before in the history of America. I wouldn't say never before in the history of life because there's nothing new under the sun. But most people are still asleep. Though Christ came that you might be awake. Not woke. Woke people still asleep. Most people are still asleep. And here's an example. Just one example. This is from Red State. Your tax dollars at work. According to a suburb of Houston, a city which has one of the nation's highest violent crime rates, Houston. It's a nation that has one of the highest violent crime rates. Crime could be reduced. Now they're saying that crime can be reduced by planting trees. Isn't that something? Think about that. And there's a city called A-Leaf. I never heard of A-Leaf. Texas. They're going to plant some trees to reduce crime. I guess when you're in the shade, you kind of cool off. And that prevents you from committing a crime, right? This is in A-Leaf, Texas. It's going to plant 1,200 trees at a cost of $2 million. Watch this from KTRK.
Throwing shade at crime. It is hoped that planting some new trees will help protect their neighborhood. Well, A-Leaf will soon be home to 1,200 new trees, and those planting them say they will not only help beautify the streets, they'll help protect them as well.
Starting late this year, 1,200 trees are going to be planted along 17 miles of road in the A-Leaf area. Harris County Precinct 4 is using $2 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding to make it happen.
And so if we can cool things off, give people something to do that's outside, that's going to engage them.
More trees planted around A-Leaf says when it comes to how trees can help deter crime, she thinks the broken window theory applies.
If the place looks ugly and barren and looks like nobody cares for it, nobody will care for it. And I think that encourages crime. It encourages vandalism.
Can you get any dumber than that? Can you get any dumber than those two females? Oh, my God. Can you get any dumber? So, planting a tree will reduce crime. Can you get any dumber than that? Our country's not coming back, and this is another example of why. You got dumb people running the country, running the cities, running the towns. And they're saying it like they really believe it, too. Oh, let's plant some trees. What they don't realize is that they're going to plant all those trees, and the criminal going to hide behind the trees. And when you come out of your house or get out of your car, because you won't be able to see them, they're going to get you. They are going to get you. Talking about the inmates running the insane asylum, that's an example of it. Men, you need to wake up and take back your role in life so we can cut out this kind of crap. It's not in the woman to lead. Women were created to follow, not to lead. That's why every time you listen to the woman, you suffer. Every time. $2 million of trees to reduce crime. And not one man that I'm aware of told these two females, you're dumb. That doesn't even make sense to the devil. What the? So I'm wondering out loud, will the trees prevent this? This is from CNN. Robert Louis Singletary, the suspect of accused of shooting a 6-year-old neighbor and her parents in South Carolina after a basketball rolled into his yard, is in custody. Watch this from ABC.
Tonight, the North Carolina man accused of shooting a 6-year-old girl and her parents over a stray basketball, waiving extradition in Florida.
Mr. Singletary, you're here on a fugitive warrant from North Carolina. It does not have a bond. Are you going to sign the waiver of extradition form today?
Indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Robert Singletary surrendering in Tampa, 500 miles from the crime scene he fled, leading authorities on an urgent 48-hour manhunt. Singletary now facing multiple charges, including 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder, after police say he opened fire on his neighbors just outside of Charlotte on Tuesday. Bullet fragments hitting 6-year-old Kinsley White's left cheek.
Why did you shoot my daddy and me?
Kinsley's father, William White, who ran to protect her, also shot. Her mother grazed.
Amazing. Did you all hear about this story? So maybe they need some trees in that yard. You think?
What the?
If they had planted some trees in that yard, at least one, that would not have happened. But did you hear about this story? I didn't hear about this until my producer, Sean, gave it to me this morning. Looked like I heard a little glimpse. Somebody mentioned this to me somewhere. Somehow, somebody somewhere did something. But remember when the white guy was accused of shooting the black boy who went to his door, according to the report, to pick up his little brothers and sisters or somebody, and they said the white man was racist. He shot the boy because he was black. We can't have that in America. This is wrong. And everybody had a hissy fit. And the guy was in his 80s, or is in his 80s. And they finally, according to the report, arrested him. It was everywhere. Nobody talking about this that I'm aware of. Why this story is not being told. Oh, because a black guy did it to white people, been accused of doing it to white people. White lives don't matter. Not a peep out of the media, anyone about this. I didn't even hear Tony from California calling me about this. He never called about this. Jesse, why so many black people shooting white people? Just because a ball rolled in their yard. Black people just shooting up white people. Why, Jesse? You ever heard Tony call about this one, right? What a double standard we now have in America. It's just blatant. It's just out there. White lives don't matter. Not even to white people. Because at least the white media could have or should have been reporting on this. Because the black media was all over when the white man did it. Press conferences and all kind of stuff. Until they finally arrested that 80-year-old man. White folks' lives don't matter in their own country. In their own country. Well, we got to go there and plant some trees in the yard so this doesn't happen again. So with the trees, could the trees have stopped this from happening? From New York Post. A demonic MS-13 gang member robbed and dismembered an Uber Eats driver for no apparent reason. Watch this from WFLA. Watch this.
We have a hardworking guy, a loving husband, who's no longer with us because this violent individual killed him.
A Pasco County community rattled tonight, learning this home on Moog Road is the focal point of a crime scene where officials say a food delivery driver was dropping off an order before he was robbed and killed.
This was absolutely a horrific crime of passion. This is demonic. We couldn't answer the question why.
Court documents identify the victim as 59-year-old Randall Cook. His wife reported him missing when he stopped responding to text messages. That prompted detectives to obtain GPS tracking information from Uber Eats, which pinpointed this house as his last location. Sheriff's deputies eventually obtained a warrant and found the victim's remains cut up and in trash bags.
You can see them carrying these trash bags around the side of the house.
The sheriff's office has now charged Oscar Adrian Solis for murder. Sheriff Nakos says Solis is a known gang member with a long and violent criminal history and had just been released from prison in Indiana.
Battery on detention staff. He supposedly stabbed somebody several times while he was in prison in Indiana. So you're talking about a very violent individual that Indiana released and sent down to Florida. He came down to Florida.
Wow. These are the kind of people that they are locking up in El Salvador. I believe it's El Salvador where the president of El Salvador built a big prison complex. And these people are being locked up. Except for those, I don't know where this guy is from originally, but many of them are coming into America because the government want the votes. So they're putting your lives at risk for the vote. These are the type of people coming into our country, open border. I don't know if this guy did that, but there are many looking just like that coming into America or already here. Well, I guess we got to plant some more trees. Too much crime. Come on, man. We got to plant some more trees. Because the crime is just out of control. They want trees, and that will stop them. They'll feel better in the shade. Now, do you still believe that the country coming back? Do you still believe the country's coming back? Now, that doesn't mean just because the country is not coming back, you have to not be at peace. But it's a mess, folks. All the wrong people are in the right places to make sure that America never returns. I want my country back, but it ain't going to happen. They have now successfully taught the religion of hate, which is anger. And that's all you see in operation now. Once in a while, you run into a man or a woman who have gone and forgiven mama and returned to the Father, and they are free of anger, free of hate. There are a few, but not most. Most people's hearts are filled with hate, anger. Anger is hatred. No longer do you hear love your brother, love your neighbor, love your enemy. Forgive and you shall be forgiven. It's a spiritual matter, folks. It has nothing to do with trees. And those two dumb females are just stupid. It has nothing to do with trees. If anything, they're setting themselves up for more crime. Because the criminal will hide behind the tree. This man, Uber Eats, tried to earn a living for he and his family, and now he's dead. By someone that they let out of prison who were just, they say you stabbed some folks in prison. And they let him out. Oh, it seemed like the guy he killed, been accused of killing, was a white guy. Oh, that doesn't matter. White lives don't matter. And I'm pretty sure had this man been accused of killing a black Uber Eats driver, that wouldn't matter either, because he looked like a Mexican. He didn't have any money. And if people of color got to stick together, right? If he was a white man, it would be a different story. May God have mercy upon this country. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. And white men, if ever there was a time you need to overcome anger and speak up, is now. You're losing your country. You're losing your lives. You're losing your livelihood. You're losing everything. And the dumb females want to plant trees for $2 million. It's like saying we're going to take all the guns and then crime will end. Because it's the gun's fault. Like the gun wake up in the morning and do the silent prayer and get up and go and meet up and say, you know what? They get in their cars and truck and walk on the train, whatever. We're going out to do some killing, robbing, and all that. The guns walking by themselves, talking to each other, putting on a face mask so they won't be recognized as a gun, and they go out and shoot.
What the?
The same thing like with the tree. The tree gonna stop the crime. Did you ever think that one day America will be subject to the intellectuals, and this is what we end up becoming? And I thought, I've been hearing that intellectuals are supposed to be smart. Somebody lied to you. I can think of many words to describe the intellectuals. Smart is not one of them. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. And I wonder if they had some trees, would this have happened? This is from the Blaze. A journalist posted a video of a man chasing him down in broad daylight. This is from Discovery Institute. Watch this.
But you know what I mean? Because he's sitting by me, and if I'm referring and you just approaching me, he's also...
This guy right there. Right there, here's a baseball bat. He came charging at me. This guy right here. What'd you call me?
I told you. You hide your... Come on, nigga. Here, nigga.
Oh, he got a knife. He got a knife. He got a knife. He got a knife. Woo! You got a knife.
Oh, you are gonna die, man. You're gonna die, man. You're gonna kill me.
You're threatening to stab me with a knife.
No, that's not in a third world country. That's in America. God bless America, huh? Land that I love. Amazing. Well, they need some trees on that street. I think we ought to plant some trees. And it will reduce, the trees will reduce crime. And they're saying it like they really believe it. That's what's get me. Oh, my God. And all the women post in front of the camera, all proud, like they really doing a big deal. Oh, Lord, thank you for this day. I went out and planted some trees, and that's going to deter crime. Do you believe me now when I say all the wrong people in the right places to assure you, make sure that America never returns? And you keep voting them in and voting them in, and when their time is up or they leave for whatever reason, you vote in the same people, same kind of people. Have you noticed that men are so under attack now that, especially white men, they're nowhere to be found. And if they happen to show a white man in a commercial, they have him hooked up with a black woman and he's looking stupid. In the white man's country, somebody else have taken over your home. And the people that are taking over your homes, who have taken over your home, they can't run anything. That's why they're taking it from you, because you've already done it. And then they're not making it better, they make it worse. They don't add to it, they destroy it.